What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Talkin Dribble. It's episode 6, and you already know we've got a huge show coming off the back of Super Bowl 59.
That's right, the Eagles dominate the Chiefs and we're breaking it all down. Our full reaction and review, what went wrong for Kansas City and where they go from here.
We're also ranking the top 5 performances in Super Bowl 59, and I'm ranking the last 10 Super Bowl MVPs from 10 to 1.
And we look ahead to next season as I bring my top 10 quarterbacks heading into next season. Some of these might surprise you, plus we'll predict where some of the biggest trade candidates will land this offseason.
But before we jump in, make sure you're subscribed and following us everywhere. Listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, watch the full episode on YouTube, and catch us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook for extra content. Your support has been unreal, and we appreciate every single one of you.
All right, let's get into it. This is Talkin Dribble.
Let's do it, man. I'll get straight into Snap and Dash, get the 60-second news out of the way. So, Eagles beat the Chiefs 40-22 in the Super Bowl, stunned everybody. Jalen Hurts put on a masterclass performance to win the Super Bowl MVP. Jordan Mailata, he became the first Australian to win a Super Bowl in the NFL, so that's massive. Props to the Aussie. And yeah, Mahomes and the Chiefs were absolutely stunned. So we'll break that all down in this episode. There's talks of Travis Kelce retiring. There's murmurs. We're not sure what he's going to do. Kendrick Lamar cooked at the halftime performance, man. He was unreal. And news not related to the Super Bowl, Deebo Samuel, Myles Garrett, Cooper Krupp, all on the trade block. Some of them are requested trades. Some of them have been told they're being moved off of. And Aaron Rodgers has been told, see you later, champ. He's not wanted on the Jets anymore. And lastly, Dallas Cowboys. This news came out in the Super Bowl. Dallas Cowboys have held internal talks about trading Micah Parsons. What? Anyway, that's Snap and Dash. 60 seconds, rapid news. But yeah, what's your thoughts about any of that, man?
Oh, that's big. It's good to see Jerry Jones. It's still Jerry Jones, just making Jerry moves. Can't believe that. We got an elite edge in Micah Parsons. And you're like, you know what? We don't need him. We don't need him. Let's ship him off and he'll just go win a Super Bowl somewhere else.
Yeah.
But, don't want to shine too much light on the Cowboys right now when the Eagles just absolutely demolished the Chiefs. So they're taking charge.
They set the tone.
Holy.
They set the tone early. They stunned, I think, everyone watching. Look, most of America, most of the world watching probably wanted this to happen. No one was rooting for the Chiefs. Well, I know we were rooting for the Chiefs, but it was an unrecognizable Chiefs outfit.
Oh, it was a tough watch for us for sure.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe it. Like the things we've kind of talked about this whole season has just been how the Chiefs are so good at controlling the game. Mahomes seems like he's just always under control. Reed's there just manipulating the game a bit. And from the get-go, that just wasn't the case for him.
No.
The Eagles just seemed so far on top of them. Their front line, offensively and defensively, just unstoppable.
I've never seen both an offensive line and a defensive line dominate both sides of the ball so much.
You're talking about defensively. It was like 4v5, and they're getting to Mahomes every single play. It was crazy. Like, Mahomes had a terrible game. Very un-Mahomes-like, but then he was under duress so much as well. So it's like, how much do you put on him? How much do you put on the team? I think just all in all, they obviously went in there with a game plan, and it just did not pay off whatsoever. And
it didn't look like they had a backup plan. No. Like, they were really just pass-heavy all game, hardly ran the ball.
From the get-go, it was
From
weird.
the get-go.
They just had no trust. It's like they saw their front line, they saw Carter there, and they're just like, no, we're not even risking putting Pacheco or Hunt in the middle of that. It was weird. They do it once and just went straight away from it, which is super concerning. Even when they got down big, you could hear, I think it was Dan Orlovsky on the mic, literally saying, he's like, even though they're down big, I wouldn't go away from the run yet. Like, the pass is not working. It's just not working. It's so stagnant right now. I'd stick with it, and you never know what could break loose. All you need is one big play to break loose, and they just had no trust in it, which is very un-Chiefs-like. You look at, in the past, they've been down big before, and we've seen them come back, so obviously backup plans have worked, and they had no answers this game.
And it was probably the second time ever I've watched the Chiefs and actually they didn't have control of the game. It was that Super Bowl against Tampa Bay when Tom Brady ran rings around him, and then yesterday the Eagles from the get-go, you always think the Chiefs are in control, they're always controlling the time of possession, but it was just not that case from at any point in the game. the Eagles were, all over them offensively, defensively. Chiefs just could not get anything going whatsoever. So, but let's dive into what actually happened. It really was a game for the ages for the Eagles, crushing the Kansas City Chiefs. But Jalen Hurts was at his best. While the Eagles defense, as we said, set the tone early. But where did the Chiefs go wrong? What's next for Mahomes? What's next for Kelce? Let's dive into just our reaction, break down the game.
It was a near perfect game for Hurts. Barring that one pick he had where he got blitzed and just chucked it downfield. Luckily, it didn't result in anything. Like, he could not have played any better. There were moments where he was under pressure. Like, he had that one where he got blitzed and threw a little, I think, an out route to got it on the sideline. And it was like, that was just a perfect ball that you just, I don't know, it felt like something we actually hadn't seen much of him this season because they were so run heavy. And I think that's kind of what the Chiefs went in on was let's make Hurts beat us in the pass game because you could see they were stacking the box so much on Saquon. Saquon could barely get going. I think he averaged about 2.7 yards a carry, Saquon. So it's like he didn't get going. He had 25 carries for 57 yards. So they knew what they wanted to stop, which we kind of recommend. You're like, you can't let Saquon get off the loose and you need to make Hurts beat you.
Yeah, we literally said that. We said that. Like, put the pressure on Hurts to make plays. Yep. And man, he did.
He did that. It was impressive to watch. Like, I remember we even had people texting us who don't watch much NFL and they're like, look, we don't watch this much. It looks like this Jalen Hurts guy is pretty good.
He's him. Is he the best player in the league? We're like, not usually, but today he's looking pretty good.
And we probably disrespected him a bit by not having him in our top 10. So
look, that's
on us.
Probably our bad. We didn't say he's a top 10 player in the game.
Probably,
in this Super Bowl.
Pretty much all the best players in that game, we didn't have in our top 10. It was
Zach Bourne.
Big miss from us. DeJean took that pick 6.
Yeah.
Oh, that was nice. But he near perfect game. It was good to watch. And that's twice now. He's rocked up to a Super Bowl with heaps of pressure on his back. And like, I know he's 1-1 now, but he practically played better than Mahomes in both of them.
Yeah, he's outplayed him individually. And you could say that his 2 best career games in the NFL are in Super Bowls, which not a lot of people could say. Like, he led the offense efficiently. He has reinforced his status as a top quarterback in the league, no doubt. So, it was an elite Eagles defense just dominating the offensive line of the Chiefs. Yeah. Like, if you were watching that game, you would have thought that the Eagles were sending the blitz all game because they just kept getting to Mahomes. They didn't blitz him once, not once. It was 4-on-5 for majority of the game.
So much trust in that front four, which they had every right to.
And Mahomes has never looked so rattled. It was like he'd look for his first target, wasn't there, and he'd just feel the pressure, try and run. Yeah. Bro,
as soon as it wasn't on for that first read, eyes were down, just scrambling around, just running around in circles.
Yep.
Where he literally just ran into his own lineman and got sacked. You're like, it's just not what we've seen. Like, obviously you could look at it, they went 15-2, but you wouldn't say Chiefs had a perfect season in terms of how they played. Everyone knew there were so many flaws in that team. They had that many nail biters. But we never saw them this rattled.
Nah.
Oh,
never.
I couldn't believe it.
I couldn't recognise them.
That's just hats off to Fangio as well. He obviously drew up a perfect game plan against this Chiefs offense. Just had him scrambled from the start. And obviously they went in with a plan as well. They assumed Chiefs aren't going to rely on their run game too much. They're not going to challenge this front four. They just stacked the box in terms of and they just had no blitzes coming. They're like, no, your receivers need to beat us 1-on-1.
Yep.
And they just couldn't.
And that led to a Cooper DeJean interception, returning for a pick 6. Like, when do you ever see Mahomes throw a pick 6, let alone in a Super Bowl? Bro, it's like he was targeting Cooper DeJean, but it was actually Cooper DeJean's 22nd birthday, so that was a nice birthday present for him.
100%.
And then Zach Bourne, of course, the linebacker, adding another interception. Yeah, disrupting.
I think that one was even crazier for us just to watch, and you're like, he's actually just throwing back-to-back picks in the Super Bowl. I don't know. He's one of those quarterbacks that when he drops back to pass, you assume it's going to someone or it's just going to be an incompletion.
Yep.
It took me a while to actually process. He's just thrown an interception
in their territory.
Yeah. And you're like, what is this? Like, Mahomes is actually losing them the game right now.
Yep, and that was obviously, so both of those were before halftime. So leading into the half, you're like, okay, the Chiefs, they haven't put any points on the board. They were shut out, but you're expecting something to happen.
Something to change.
And the whole game, you're waiting for that, that shoe to drop, but it never came. They obviously scored 22 points, most of them in garbage time, but Mahomes was sacked 6 times. There were drives where, okay, this is the drive Chiefs are going to get points on the board. And it was just sack sack, fumble, pick. Like, they could not even move the chains. What they had, like 24 yards in the first half or something as a team.
Like yeah.
I think Eagles almost had more points than them in the first half than Chiefs had yards, which is like, it doesn't even sound real what we're saying. But yeah, you were waiting for Chiefs just to find their rhythm in the game, and Mahomes, he was seeing ghosts out there, man. He really was just not seeing, he was not feeling the pocket, he was not seeing his receivers.
The Eagles literally just killed him all across the board. They killed him in time of possession, 37-23.
Yep.
And we saw that. You watch the game, you're like, Mahomes hasn't been on the field. And when he has, they're just 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. 21 first downs to 12.
Yep.
135 rush yards to 49. Literally, Mahomes was their leading rusher.
Yeah.
They had, what was it? I think they had 3 running backs combined for 7 carries and 24 rush yards. That's Samaje Perine, Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco.
Thing is, none of them would have had, over 5 attempts?
7 total carries.
Yeah, that's
all
insane.
of them, which was insane. But then 6 sacks to 2, which was massive, and then 11 QB hits to 3, which is massive. So obviously, Hurts had all day in the pocket, but he took advantage of it. He made plays, and then as soon as the pocket would collapse a bit, he was just a massive running threat, especially at the end when they're just holding on. He just dropped back, nothing's on, just go down the middle. I think he had would have been back-to-back third downs that he got a first down on or something where it's like,
legs.
Chiefs need a stop here.
Yep.
And he just made a play happen. And it's like, that's, they played, hats off to Sirianni, hats off to Kellen Moore. Obviously, they knew as well. Like, Hurts, you're a runner. You can run.
You have
like,
that
you
ability.
make plays that. We don't expect you to just sit back there and just pick apart this Chiefs offense all game. Use your strengths, especially when we've built the lead up. We're holding on to the ball. We're killing time in possession. They played it beautifully, which was a tough watch.
It was tough, bro. We were sitting there like, what is going on? Like, thank God we were having a few bevs in us, because by the time we sobered up last night, it was like, whoa, what did we just watch?
Yeah, it was rough.
But look, Hurts dominated. He combined for almost 300 yards total, 221 yards in the air, 72 yards by foot, 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, which, we didn't think that's how they would win. We thought it would be off the back of Saquon Barkley. And Saquon Barkley, man, he really was limited. He was limited. I think he ends up with 70 scrimmage yards around, 30.
So 87 total yards.
87, yeah.
But I think, obviously we look at it and it's like Saquon didn't have his best game. But just him being there plays a massive role in them getting over the hump, because just his presence there draws that entire Chiefs defense to stopping him.
Yep.
So obviously, yes, on paper and stuff, it's like Saquon didn't have a great game. He didn't have to do much for him to win. But without him there, makes it a lot easier for Spagnuolo's defense to cover A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, knowing the run game's not as big of a threat. So they obviously committed fully to him, and there's a reason for that, because he's the best running back in the league.
Yep.
Obviously, them trying to stop him just made it a lot easier for everything else. So hats off to him. He's completely changed this Eagles offense all season.
He got him there, and the team just kind of did what they had to do to get him over the line. But if you were Spags, the Chiefs defensive coordinator, and you were told you kept Saquon Barkley to 2.3 yards a carry, and you lost the game by 20-odd points,
in shock.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it's real. So
it was tough. They were put in tough positions multiple times there. They had the pick 6, they had the next pick, they had the fumble towards the end as well, where Mahomes got taken out. It was just elite defense. So Spagnuolo's defense wasn't put in great positions at any point in the game, but what we kind of talked about was their undersized DBs, and it kind of fell to that. Got on early. A.J. Brown had a couple of big plays where they're just too big for these guys. Yep. A.J. Brown over the top multiple times. Obviously, the first drive, he gets called for that PI, which was a bit iffy. And as soon as that happened, I'm like, shit, this could be a rough game for him. If A.J. Brown's doing this early, he's getting open early. Yeah, it's gonna be tough for McDuffie. And then they just kind of made it happen, but. It was interesting. No one on that Eagles offense really went berserk. AJ, I think, 3 catches for 43 yards and a touchdown. Devontae Smith, it felt like we saw him a lot more than we did, but it was 4 catches, 69 yards and a touchdown. Yeah. And then Goddard, I think, went for about 27 yards. It's like they just got contribution from everywhere, but it wasn't like they had a standout performer on that offensive end.
Stories of success for this game was on the O-line and the D-line. It just was. They just had... Jalen Hurts had so much time to throw, and Patty Mahomes didn't, and he just couldn't get the offense going. And when the Chiefs' offense is going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, that puts so much pressure on the Chiefs' defense. And to be fair, there was I think the Chiefs' defense had only given up 10 points in majority of the first half, and then another pick, and it's like, all right, we're back on again.
Yep.
Like they did well to hold up.
What it did to Chris Jones. Obviously, it looked like he had a neck injury after that first tush push. And then you're talking about, so he's trying to recover from that. He's trying to get treatment for that.
Yep.
And then as soon as he gets on the sideline, it's like, nah, you're already back on. Like you're just talking, you're talking about, your defense needs help there. They need time to rest. They need time to recover. And they're just giving it right back to him, which makes it very difficult. But full hats off to Philly. Like, they started the year 2-2. So many question marks about Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, what's AJ Brown doing?
Yep.
Like the defense was struggling early. And they just completely flipped around their season.
Yeah.
Hats off to them. There was when you're playing in Philly, there's always going to be issues. Everything gets leaked because it's such a big market. And it felt like it was never under control, but obviously within the building it was.
Yeah, they never listened to the outside noise. It feels like they never let that impact them. And hey, they're the best team. They were the best team and landed on top for this season. And not a lot of people would have thought that, early on. They started 2-2 and looked like
they got blown out by Tampa last year. Like it just looked like there were so many red flags around a team that is so stacked. And they just made it work. Like Harry Roseman is one hell of a GM.
That's off to him.
You're talking about they have just key position players everywhere that's getting paid top market money as well. And they just find a way to keep a hold of them all. And then, not trying to throw shade at your Cowboys, but it feels like you paid your quarterback, you paid your receiver, and now there's no money to go around anywhere else. Just the difference between GMs, like you're talking about Jerry Jones is practically your GM and Howie is running the Eagles. And it's like they just make it work. They just bring blokes in. They took a massive chance on Jalen Carter. It paid off huge. They got Quinyon Mitchell in the draft. They got Cooper DeJean in the draft. Possibly some of the best DBs this season.
Yep.
They just made stuff work. And then they lose a Hall of Fame center in Jason Kelce. And it's like they didn't skip a beat.
No.
They just move right in. Next man up. They make it work. Jordan Mailata, possibly the best tackle all year as well. Yeah. They just make it work. And that's just a sign of a good organization. Even if there's a whole lot of things being leaked, so much going on, huge question marks about your head coach. And then you're talking about your offensive coordinator just before the Super Bowl. It's like linked to the New Orleans Saints. So it's like he's probably gone.
Yep.
They just didn't let any of it affect him. Went in there with a game plan, made it work, had a great playoff run, and topped it off with a perfect Super Bowl win.
That's it. Fair to say, Travis Kelce did not propose to Taylor Swift. I know I was pretty flattered. I think a lot of us were.
I think that was the reason they just got destroyed. I think this is on you.
It probably is on me. I put the pressure on old Trav. But yeah, after the game, he called it the worst game the Chiefs played all season. He was shocked by obviously shocked by the 34-0 third quarter deficit. But there's questions. Is he going to retire? I hope he doesn't. He's got, you can't leave your career
you don't want to finish like that.
Nah, you can't finish like this. You got to answer that. You got to answer that. And I don't think anyone wants him to retire. He's the best tight end of all time, arguably. So it'd be a bitter way to finish a career because he really didn't. I think he had 2 catches for the game. One of them was from that little flick from Mahomes. But it'd be a shame if he does retire. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
Finish on top like that. You want to go out on a way where it does affect his legacy a bit. You don't want to finish like that. You look at Gronk. Gronk finished on a Super Bowl with Tom Brady. That's the way to finish it, leaving New England and going to Tampa and finishing on a Super Bowl. So you want to see Kelce finish on a high. Same with Andy Reid. I don't expect Andy Reid to retire either.
No,
I wouldn't.
I don't think so.
I think those rumors have kind of died down. So you're but this is a big thing for the Chiefs. It's a so-called dynasty. This is not a way you want to let that kind of finish up in such
I don't think it will be. No. I don't think it will be. I think they're going to regroup, prepare in the offseason and come back. I don't know if they'll come back stronger because they had a pretty good season, but I think we'll see a better Chiefs outfit next season.
Wouldn't be surprised if, say, they do end up winning 12 games next season compared to their 15, but we actually see a better Chiefs team. No one thought this is a dominant 15-2 team this year. There were so many close calls. So yeah, hopefully they can kind of restructure a few things in the offseason, but don't go too far away from it's worked. You won 2 straight for a reason and got to a third. Obviously you lost to a better team. It's as simple as that.
Oh, they're a smart
Eagles
organisation.
are a much better team on paper.
Yeah.
They've just got blokes everywhere. So it's you don't want to go too far away from what works. But I don't know. I think, running back's a big question. Hopefully Pacheco can get back to
his best and they'll have Rashee Rice next year. Yep. I don't know what will happen with blokes like D-Hop, Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
older players who I don't know if they're contracted for
wouldn't
next
expect
season.
them to be coming back. I hope Hollywood Brown comes back,
Yeah,
I'd assume.
for
I don't
sure.
actually know his contract situation right now, but he was a good pickup in the offseason and just
Yeah,
never
for sure.
played. Xavier Worthy. I know a lot of his stuff was in kind of junk time, but hats off to him. What did he go for? He had like 7 catches? 8 catches for 57 yards and 2 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, so he showed his talent.
Yeah.
It was a good game for him. Even if most of the stats were in
It was
junk time, but
all in junk time, but it still showed like there's potential there. And it was good to see them go over the top. Like they went over the top and it's like they went deep and it's like this is what we want to see during the season.
yeah.
We want to see that explosive offense a bit more. Again, put a bit of fear. Just kind of, I don't know, make defenses have to think a bit more about that further game, which could open up for Kelce a lot more.
Yeah, but hey, look, Philly, they're going to obviously be back stronger than ever next season again. Like they're going to keep most of their blokes.
Yeah.
They have to pay like blokes like Zach Bourne, I think, but they've got most of their O-line, most of their D-line locked up with money. So they're going to be back at it again. It's going to be, it's definitely like put all the other NFC teams on notice to be like, whoa, this is how you win. Like we need to draft well. We need to attract players through free agency, make trades. Like they've done that through AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley, drafting Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell. Like they really have just built their team through all different facets. So, but we got to give big fella Kendrick Lamar his props, man.
That was one hell of a performance.
Yeah, that was pretty clean. I ain't gonna lie. It definitely did give us a little boost of energy at the halftime when we were pretty flat.
100%. That's the thing. You're like talking about Chiefs fans would have absolutely hated it. Eagles fans would have been loving it. Heck of a performance and
bro.
Rip Drake, man. That's
I know.
a
Yeah,
tough
that was tough. But
talking about him taking out the Grammys and then just comes and performs that in
I
front
know.
of millions and millions of people.
I had the under on the 10.5 songs for Kendrick, and
Same.
I thought I hit it.
Bro,
Apparently, he's saying 14.
there's some sorcery going on there. I thought there was like 8 tops.
Bro, I read the list and he sung 14, and I was like, bro, yeah, I said to you, I counted 8. I was like, I must have just been tripping, but
That is crazy.
yeah, so
I know. Oh, it's shattering. We didn't get the coin toss either. That was
no,
heartbreaking.
that screwed one of my multis straight up, picked heads.
I got stitched. I took the Chiefs to win the coin toss,
Yep.
but on tails. No, on heads, and it was tails. So Chiefs won the coin toss, but on the tails.
Yeah, that was
As soon as they said that, I'm like, oh, I'm cooked. That's what you
And
done.
I actually got that, I'm pretty sure. It was to see Taylor Swift on the screen on national television or Travis Kelce reception. And it took Travis Kelce to get a reception, like, what,
Yeah, a couple
three
of
quarters.
drops,
So, fair, I got that. But I think we lost a bit of money yesterday.
Yeah, definitely didn't get up on one of them.
No.
So that was shattering.
No.
The,
I got the Jalen Hurts rushing. I got the Kareem Hunt under.
That was a good pick.
I don't think Mahomes quite got the over 35, 36 and a half. He got like 32 passes. But that's because he was on the field for about 10 minutes. But
Abysmal.
anyway, that's probably enough for at least just chatting about the Super Bowl. Do you want to give us your top 5 Super Bowl performances?
Yeah, 100%. Oh, and that's the thing. It was like, I think someone posted during the game, they were like, give the Super Bowl MVP just to this Eagles defense because they were insane. And literally, if you could, people who aren't in this top 5, there's so many snubs because everyone put together such a good game. But coming in at 5, I think he had to be here just because how big of a play he made was Cooper DeJean. 1 pick and he took it back to the house. Had a pass deflection as well. Like, he was huge. Obviously, like, their front line and stuff was so big, but a play like that just can't go unnoticed. He changed the aspect of that game for sure. Made a huge play and, literally put Chiefs on the back foot straight away, which comes to number 4, and that was Zach Bourne because he had a huge pick as well, but then he was so big. He had 4, I think it was 1 QB hit, 4 assists, 3 solos, and then a pass deflection as well. Like, he was massive. He's just everywhere. His story is truly incredible. From the Saints special teams to come in here in the decoy conversations, he's going to get the bag this season.
Yeah, he's going to get money.
Which makes it tough for the Eagles. They've got to pay Sirianni top dollar probably now, and Zach Bourne's going to be asking for a lot. So they've got some money to pay up there, but he was huge, complete game changer. Number 3, I think he went a bit unnoticed, but watching the game, I'm like, he is everywhere. And that was Josh Sweat. 2 tackles for loss, 3 QB hits, 3 solos, and 4 assists. He was everywhere. And that's what we talked about. We said their tackles.
Yeah.
Like, Chiefs tackles, huge question marks. Like, their front 3, that interior is really strong. Their tackles were in shambles, and Josh Sweat took complete notice of that and destroyed him. But like pretty much any time Mahomes was under duress, he was there just making plays happen. So he was huge. I think he went under the line a bit. I was, super impressed with him. Coming in at number 2, because there's only 5 spots to fill, you can't put every single one of them in. So I've just put Eagles O-line. Super, like, I've not seen an O-line that dominant in so long.
Insane.
It just felt like, they were just manhandling this pretty good front 4 for the Chiefs. Like, you're talking about some really high-quality players, and Chris Jones had no impact on the game. Kyle Loftus had no impact on the game. They just... super dominant.
You didn't see either of them.
Super dominant, super impressed, and that's the thing. If I could list all of them, I would, but just had to put them in there as a whole group.
Shout out to Jordan Mailata, bro.
What a beast!
What a
beast! I'm keen to see if there was any mic'd up moments of him, and hopefully a few more Bane impersonations. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. But then finishing at number 1, you can't go past him, and we obviously disrespected him. Probably made him play even better. He was listening to some Talkin Dribble, and saw he wasn't in the top 10, had to ball out. So we have Jalen Hurts at 1. Just perfect game. Completely outplayed Mahomes, who is been in GOAT talks for the last how many seasons. Yeah. And that's twice he's probably done it. He was super impressive, looked under control from the start of the game, made plays with his legs, made play with his arms.
Yep.
Just controlled the game beautifully. Hats off to him. Super Bowl MVP, well-deserved, absolute stud. And he's put his name right up there with some of the best quarterbacks in the league. And, now they've got the target on their back for next season.
Yep.
Keen to see how he handles all that, but would not be more impressed with what Jalen Hurts did in that Super Bowl. Super impressive.
He proved his critics wrong, didn't he, man?
Then just got a few honourable mentions. Yeah. Like Devontae Smith made huge plays. He was super impressive, which I was not expecting out of him. Milton Williams on the front line for the Eagles was a stud. Like, absolute beast, had a breakout game, really. He was super good. And then Xavier Worthy, I know, had to chuck a Chiefs player in there. Rookie, what he did was pretty impressive. Yeah. And a lot of it was junk time minutes, but it was good to see. He was pretty much the one highlight from that.
Yeah, the one bright
and kind of gives them a bit of hope next season with their receiving core. So I thought, give him his props. He had a super impressive game against some really good DBs. But apart from that, no Chiefs player deserves to sniff that top 5. That was embarrassing.
Yeah, no, not wrong, man. So, that's a good list.
That types it off.
That's a good list, man. That's it was really fairly dominant, wasn't it? Like, you couldn't really put a Chiefs bloke in there.
Yeah, it wasn't expecting it to be the top 5 at all. But
off the back of that, really off the back of a pretty elite Jalen Hurts MVP performance in the Super Bowl, I've decided to rank from 1 to 10 the last 10 Super Bowl MVPs in the last 10 years.
Yep.
So at number 10 to kick us off, we've got Julian Edelman when he played for the Patriots back in Super Bowl 53. This was in 2019. 10 catches, 141 yards. This was that really low-scoring game against the Rams. He was the primary target for Tom Brady back in that game. He actually set the record for most receptions in the Super Bowl. But, he did that in such a low-scoring game. So one of the few Super Bowls where a quarterback isn't the MVP for the winning team. But, played a pivotal role in the Patriots' offense that game. Number 9. We'll see this guy on the list a few times. Patrick Mahomes back in 2020, Super Bowl 54. So that was against the 49ers that first time. Went 26 of 42 passing, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns. He led the Chiefs with that crucial fourth quarter comeback, touchdown passes to seal the win. Mahomes' leadership that game and like that clutch play, that really did set him up for, these few years that they've been dominating. Number 8, Von Miller for the Broncos. Back in 2016, that was Super Bowl 50. 6 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 1 pass defended. That's when they beat the Panthers with Cam Newton. He dominated for a defensive player to win the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl MVP. Like that's pretty crazy. Like a lot of his pressure led to multiple turnovers, and that was against a really, really good Panthers outfit that year. So. Back in 2016. So, anyway, number 7, Cooper Krupp for the LA Rams. Back in 2022, Super Bowl 56. That was when they beat Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Cooper Krupp went for 8 catches, 92 yards, 2 tutties. That was a special game. He won the Triple Crown that year. That was like the Cooper Cup year.
Yeah.
That was with.
Sad to see him getting moved now.
I know
like,
it
it's
is.
an end of an era.
That was only 4 or 5 years ago. Now he's been moved.
Shattering.
Yeah, he dominated that Bengals secondary consistently. Yeah, separating from his defenders and especially in crucial moments. That was with Matt Stafford at his quarterback, but that was a pretty impressive MVP performance by the
100%.
MVP that year. So number 6 this year, Jalen Hurts for the Eagles. So obviously Super Bowl 59, 2025. What do you finish with? 17 of 22, 293 total yards, 3 total TDs. Disrupted the Chiefs' three-peat. So he really was so versatile on the offensive end. He proved a lot of the haters wrong. It was a historic performance considering he was disrupting like the potential first three-peat ever. And it was essentially the second time he's outplayed Mahomes in a Super Bowl. So, he was dominant. He read the pocket. He read the Chiefs defense so well. And it was, that's got him at number 6.
Yeah, I like it.
So moving into the top 5, number 5, Patrick Mahomes. That was Super Bowl 57 in 2023. So this is when he beat the Eagles. Went 21 of 27, 182 yards, 3 touchdowns. Led another comeback in that game, despite playing through an ankle injury that game. Like he was injured. He was literally hobbling through that game. And he, orchestrated that late drive in the game to, set up that game-winning field goal where Butker won the game for him. So that was his second Super Bowl MVP at that point, and that kind of cemented his legacy as like one of the best quarterbacks of all time, that game. Like they were definitely underdogs because they didn't really have the talent that Eagles did that season and like similar to this season. But that was an impressive performance in that game. So that's Mahomes at number 5.
Yep.
Number 4, the GOAT, Tom Brady, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Super Bowl 55 back in 2021. This man, what was he, 44, something like that? 21 of 29, insane. 201 yards, 3 tutties. You saw him speaking about this game like during the Super Bowl week just gone. He read the Chiefs defense. He knew the Chiefs defense that game better than they knew themselves. Like that was crazy for a guy. So he was so old. It was one of his last few years in the league. His first year with his new team, Tampa Bay, after leaving Belichick. That was the game he set the record for the most Super Bowl wins by quarterback. Adding to his legendary GOAT status, and he beats the guy who is in his prime and is in the discussion against him in the GOAT debate in Patrick Mahomes. So he was flawless in that game, and that game Tampa fully shut down Mahomes. So it was a team effort.
It was very similar to this year's. There was just no chance. Mahomes was under duress the whole game, trying to make plays happen, and Tampa was. Yeah, that was a crazy game as well. That
was, and because they weren't even one of the best teams in that league in the regular season. They started slow, and then they just were one of the best teams in the second half.
It was very similar to Stafford's first year with the Rams. Yeah. They had that slow start. They kind of sneak into the playoffs and then just make stuff happen. It's truly insane. Oh, that was one hell of a season. Tom Brady leaving Belichick first season wins a Super Bowl. That's why he's the GOAT.
That's why he's the GOAT, man. That's why he's the GOAT. Anyway, so number 3, Nick Foles back in 2018. What Super Bowl was that? That was Super Bowl 52. So 28 for 43 passing, 373 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a touchdown reception.
Philly special,
man. He he was the backup quarterback in that game. He delivered when it mattered most. He was clutch through some really clutch TDs to Zach Ertz in that game when he was at the Eagles.
Yep.
He was first ever Super Bowl victory. Caught a touchdown in that iconic Philly special play. Everyone's seen that. Right, no one picked that. That was against a GOAT Tom Brady against one of the best Patriots teams. And that game, Brady literally broke the record for passing yards in a game. He could have
done much more.
No, he threw for like 500 odd yards, and here we are, a backup QB, because it was Carson Wentz. He was their primary QB that year.
He was in MVP talks and everything, and then blows out. I think it was ACL. Absolutely got demolished on that, and Foles comes in, sets the tone.
Yeah, that was an insane performance.
Yeah, that's a hell of a story.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Hell of a game.
Like, imagine that happening today. Like,
I know. Oh, who would that be like coming in?
Carson Wentz coming in.
Carson Wentz coming. We were saying that, Carson Wentz. Just bring him in. Let him have this comeback against his former team.
Oh, no, that's it. Number 2, Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs. Back against the 49ers, Super Bowl 58, 2024. He was unreal. 34 for 46 passing, 333 yards and 2 touchdowns. And that's what he needed to do in that game against that stacked San Francisco team.
That was a crazy team.
That was an insane. It was similar to this year, but they had weapons. Deebo, Brandon Ayuk, McCaffrey. That was his amazing year. They had Purdy balling out. And then on the defense, Niners were stacked. So Chiefs, Mahomes needed that MVP-like historic performance that game, and he definitely delivered. He he scored 21 unanswered points in the second half in that game. So earned a pretty special MVP. And that further elevated his status.
Yep.
And then number 1, Tom Brady for the Patriots, 2017 Super Bowl 51. So 43 for 62 passing, 466 yards, 2 touchdowns in that historic comeback against the Falcons. That was probably the most insane game. They were down 28-3.
Yeah.
That's the biggest comeback in Super Bowl history. It was truly a historic performance by Brady. That's why he's number 1. That really did just solidify his legacy. I've seen so many people say that was when he really separated himself from Joe Montana to be the greatest of all time.
Yep.
That 466 yards was the second most in the Super Bowl behind his own performance a few years later.
Yep.
That was a pretty special performance.
That's a good list. That's a great list. What's crazy to hear about that is 7 out of the top 10, those Super Bowls involved Mahomes or Brady.
Yeah.
So obviously, two, one of them went to Edelman, one of them went to Foles, but 7 of those 10 had either Brady or Mahomes in it.
Yep. Oh, it shows you how dominant they've been over these last, 10 years?
Yeah.
It's either one of them in there.
They went from one dynasty to a new dynasty. It was pretty insane. I think that's why so many people hate the Chiefs as well.
Yeah.
But it's pretty impressive. The AFC, man.
Stacked,
man. To beat them, but good to see. Eagles in there a couple of times as well, though. Felt like Nick Foles could have been higher.
Yeah.
I think it's just super insane what he's done.
It's just, I remember.
It was crazy.
I remember that Chiefs, last year. I just did not think the Chiefs could win that game against the Niners. And Mahomes was just so clutch. He was so, the way he controlled the game was crazy. And Nick Foles, he could have probably been in that 2 spot maybe, but it was a tough list to actually put together. There were so many good performances. 100%. So
that's the thing. That's why they're the Super Bowl MVP. They're not there for no reason. All of them have all of them have a case to be at 10. All of them have a case to be at 1. So super impressive. I love that. It's a great list. That's great stuff.
Appreciate the support.
Yeah. Nick Foles should be higher, but we all make mistakes. One thing that we don't make a mistake on, though, is my top 10 quarterbacks heading into next year.
Here we go. Looking ahead.
Perfect list ahead. Okay. Perfect list coming up.
Yeah, let's see this.
Could be a few question marks. But we'll start us off. Coming in at number 10. Got a big one here because there's a lot of question marks on how he'll go next season. Losing his coordinator. Jared Goff at 10. Lost Ben Johnson. And obviously he's got nothing to do with the defense, but Aaron Glenn's gone as well. So it's brand new coordinators across the board. A lot of question marks to see how Detroit kind of come back this season. It was a shattering way to finish their year. Their defense was full depleted, but their offense is still stacked. Keen to see how he goes, but I think he's got a lot of question marks around him come playoff time. And he definitely didn't answer that bell this year. So, he struggled. It was fair to say he struggled. He had a near-perfect season, was in the MVP conversations. Had a rough way to finish the year, but I think 10's a good spot for him because
he's a solid 10.
100%. I think 10's a good spot because I feel like everyone above him, if you give them the same cards, they're either doing the same or more with it.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that's coming in at 9. My man, who would have thought a couple of years ago he'd be here? But Baker Mayfield at number 9.
Baker, baby.
What a dog, man. What a dog. He is a beast. It's just so good to watch his story and the way he's come back, the way he's leading this Tampa Bay team. It's somewhat the offense is somewhat similar to what Brady had. In terms of obviously no Gronk and no Leonard Fournette or something. He's got Evans there. He had Godwin, but then Godwin got injured during the year. He just makes things work. And now Bucky Irvin's added that addition, which has helped Baker a lot.
Yeah.
What he's done, what he did last year was super impressive. And I think you look at what Jaden Daniels and stuff did, the Commanders did during the playoffs. Kind of shows how impressive Baker's performance was against them in the playoffs. It felt like it was a bit of a disappointing way to finish their season. But you look at how good the Commanders actually were. They put up a heck of a fight, and Baker probably played a near perfect game apart from that like little fumble at the end.
Yeah, and he just keeps leading Tampa to the
and
playoffs.
That's the thing. You actually trust him on like an end of game drive. If he's got the ball in his hands, you trust that he's going to make plays happen.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I think he's an absolute stud. He's getting better every year as well, which I'm super impressed with. I hope he stays around with Tampa and kind of lead them to some good things. Coming in at 8, the man just keeps doing it. No matter how old he gets, he's a superstar. He's possibly the most talented quarterback in the league, and that's Matt Stafford. Obviously, there's some question marks where if he'll be at the Rams or not the next season. I think he will. Obviously, Kupp's going to go and stuff, but he's a gun. He just wills them. He's probably in my eyes, he's probably the toughest quarterback we've ever seen. He'll play through anything. He's make stuff happen. Super talented. For some reason, he's got like certain receivers he's just got a super strong connection with. Like he goes from obviously Megatron in Detroit, comes to LA, makes one with Cooper Kupp straight away where it's like next level connection. Puka Nacua comes in, so then Cooper Kupp's off to the side, and now it's just him and Puka Nacua have a superstar connection. He's a gun, I think, yeah. I'd look to see them have a really good year again next year as they go through the draft again. They've got first-round picks. They've got a super young team. Expect him to kind of lead. I think the Rams will win that division again under the belt of Matt Stafford.
Ooh, okay. Hopefully he stays there. Hopefully he actually
100%. I think he will. Coming in at number 7, this guy, super talented. I'd love to have him high up, but he just hasn't proven in the playoffs yet, and that's Justin Herbert. I think we all know he's got the tools. We all know he has the potential to be an absolute superstar, but it's twice now. He's come to the playoffs and pretty much just crapped the bed a bit. Like the Jags game, you wouldn't put that one all on him. Obviously, they built the lead, and then he didn't do too much in the second half to lose the lead, but he didn't do much to maintain it. But then, against the Texans this season was just abysmal.
Yeah.
Like it was something we hadn't seen of him all season. So it looks like under the bright lights, he definitely may struggle a bit. I still have so much trust in him. I'd love to see him get more weapons around him and stuff, but he's super talented. He's kind of always been like, he's that 5th quarterback in that top 5. But I think this season he kind of dropped back a bit, especially after that playoff performance.
Yeah, he's now got like kind of a playoff reputation, doesn't he? He hasn't won a playoff game. And
it's shattering to see, but hopefully Jim Harbaugh and him can keep turning that around.
Yep.
Coming in at 6. This one's tough because I actually think he's come up my QB board a lot more. Like he was borderline top 10 for me and he's come to 6, and that's Jalen Hurts. Obviously just Super Bowl MVP, so he's got that over literally every guy above him apart from like the man. But he's a gun. And I think 6 is a really good spot for him because I do believe the guys above him are playing better all-around football with less.
Trying to think who you have at 5, or like I think I know your top 4, but who's it?
You'll just have to wait and see.
Bro, how is he not a top 5 quarterback after winning the Super Bowl?
You just have to wait and see. But I think 6 is a good spot for him. I think he's a gun. He's super talented. He's an absolute beast. But I think the 5 guys above him are like generational players.
Well, this bloke just beat Patty Mahomes.
I know, but you look at his squad.
Outplayed Mahomes twice in the Super Bowl.
You look at his squad, okay, and you look at who's about to be number 5.
Watch it.
You're telling, okay, I'm going to say my number 5. And if you're telling me you're going to take him over this guy, I'm going to call you crazy. Number 5, best rookie season of all time, Jaden Daniels, is coming in at number 5.
You're calling me crazy. Because that's crazy. Jalen Hurts has taken his team to 2 Super Bowls. Jaden Daniels has played 1 season in the league.
Yeah, 1 season took him to a NFC Conference Championship.
Yeah, but Jalen Hurts has won a Super Bowl.
Look what he's working with.
Yeah, and
he had a better year than him. Jalen Hurts, much less with a team that was picking number 2 for a reason.
But who did he lose to? Literally 2 weeks ago against the Super Bowl.
Did he lose to Jalen Hurts or did he lose to Saquon Barkley in that elite defense and that stacked offense?
Jalen Hurts outplayed him. Like he balled out.
Yeah, look what he's got. Bro, I'm telling you, there is no way Jaden Daniels is not a top 5 quarterback.
So there's no way Jalen Hurts isn't a top 5 quarterback?
Not over these guys.
Bro, his 2 best games ever have been in the Super Bowl.
No.
2 best games ever.
No,
like,
not
who else can say that?
He's a gun. But Jaden Daniels, okay, let's think. You put Jaden Daniels on the Eagles right now. You put Jaden Daniels on the Eagles right now. Are they a better team?
No, they're not.
Right.
They're not.
No.
Hurts fits perfectly into that roster. Jaden Daniels, he's a talented kid, but he's a rookie. Jalen Hurts has been there. His composure, his leadership. I think Daniels is similar in that way, but bro, right now you can't have Daniels better than Hurts. Hurts just won a Super Bowl MVP. Daniels has played 20 games in his career?
Can't believe what's coming out of your mouth right now.
Bro, come off it.
I can't believe that. So, okay, no, Jaden Daniels is a top 5 quarterback. He is a stud. What he did this season is possibly better than it's better than what any of these quarterbacks have done in their first year.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like a rookie. He is you look at what Jalen Hurts did in his rookie season in the playoffs. Got absolutely destroyed by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't even know if he passed over 100 yards.
Look, I get that.
And then you look at what Jalen Daniels has done in his first playoff run.
We're comparing them now. Jalen Hurts.
And Jalen Daniels is better.
He's not better.
He is better.
He's not. He might be better. He'll probably be a better quarterback for the long run. But Jalen Hurts literally won a Super Bowl.
Do you think the Commanders could win a game if Jalen Daniels passed under 100 yards?
Probably not.
And didn't rush much?
Probably not.
Exactly.
But would the Eagles have won the Super Bowl with Jalen Daniels as their quarterback?
Yes.
Do you think so?
I think any of these top 5 quarterbacks, you put them on the Eagles, they are clear-cut the best team and no one will even touch them. Because these guys are generational.
Jalen Hurts had a purpose.
There's a reason he was a number 2 overall pick.
Jalen Hurts had a purpose before you had an opinion. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not bringing that out. No disrespect to Jalen Hurts. I think he's a gun, earned heaps of respect in this Super Bowl, but Jaden Daniels is number 5 for me.
Yeah, whatever.
100%. We'll move on before we start going at each other. Number 4, Joe Burrow. Okay?
Yeah.
This guy is a stud. He proved it again, one comeback player of the year for the second time.
Yes, sir.
He is a superstar. He's been to a Super Bowl. Oh, he should have won that Super Bowl. That was shattering to watch. I just think these top 4 guys that I've got, top 5 guys I've got above is just superstar talents that are untradeable as well. I'm like, these are guys, if you lose them, that's a reset for your organization. Yep. So he's a superstar, had an insane year. If their defense could hold up, I would have picked him for my MVP. But obviously they missed the playoffs because, they're dropping 40 a game, but they're giving up 50. So he was a superstar all year, super impressed with him. Great way to come back after getting injured last season.
Yeah, we love Joey, and I hope he cracks the top 3, top 2 next year. I hope he has an MVP performance.
They need to win that division. Get some home field advantage.
Need to be better 100%. Than the Ravens.
And that's the thing. That's who I've got above him is Lamar Jackson. Obviously, Lamar, you can kind of point to similar things with Herbert. He struggled a bit in the playoffs. But I don't know. I feel like this year he actually, regular season, he was insane. You could make a case he should have won his 3rd MVP this year. I've not seen a quarterback this complete for a while. He looks super complete. There were heaps of question marks coming into the league about his passing game. People were like, he should go to running back or something because he's quick as, he can juke everything, but his arm's not great. His arm is possibly the best in the league now.
Yeah.
It's very rarely you see him miss a target. Watching him is truly special, and the addition of Derrick Henry's helped a heap. So they're just an unstoppable duo. But he had a good playoffs as well. I didn't think the Ravens lost because of him this year. I felt like they had a lot of other factors. I thought, obviously, he didn't play like he does during the regular season, but not many quarterbacks do.
True.
I think he's a superstar, but I have him just behind my number 2 because this guy is just literally Superman, and that's Josh Allen. MVP, baby. We haven't even touched on that yet. That was huge. A bit unexpected. I picked Lamar, you picked Allen, but there was probably a bit of you that still thought.
I thought after Lamar got All-Pro, quarterback, I thought for sure he was going to win it.
Yep.
Because it's a little weird because they're the same voters. So how does one get All-Pro and the other get MVP? But bro, I was stoked when Allen got MVP. Man, it's almost like an honorary pick. I feel like he's had better seasons than this current one. But
a lot of people are comparing it to Joel Embiid's MVP year.
Yeah, but then
Allen
Embiid
made the AFC Conference Championship,
and he beat Lamar.
Yeah,
and
he played a perfect game. Allen's a gun. If I was picking a team, I'm probably taking him over Lamar.
I'm taking.
But Lamar had an insane year, so it could have gone either way. But I think Josh Allen's clear-cut number 2 quarterback in the league right now, going into next season as well. I'm expecting the Bills to have a big year again. Would like to see them try and get the number 1 seed in the AFC. If they do face off against the Chiefs again in the playoffs, they've got that home field advantage in Buffalo, play a big part. Obviously, they didn't capitalize on that last season, but I'd love to see that. I reckon Allen's in for a second MVP next season.
Potentially.
I'm booking it.
Who'd you pick for MVP again?
Took Lamar.
Yes.
Took Lamar.
Good to know. It's good to know what kind of blokes are making these lists.
Oh, my days. But I think we can all agree, no, I don't care how bad his Super Bowl performance was. Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league. Heading in this season, heading into next season, heading into the next season after that, there is no way you can convince me that you would take someone over Patrick Mahomes.
He's got 3 Super Bowls.
He's got 3 Super Bowls for a reason. He's been to 5. There's a reason. He's 3-2 in the Super Bowl. He's he's a stud. And I think he's gotten to a point where obviously they don't have that big play ability as much anymore, but it's because they're so good at controlling the game, which was a surprise they didn't do that in the Super Bowl. But, I'm on board with you. I reckon there's a big chance he comes out with vengeance next year. And if anyone's going to challenge Josh Allen for that MVP, it could be Mahomes, but not a superstar level performance next season. But there's no argument against him. I think everyone, as much as people love or hate him, I think everyone's pretty certain on he's the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, he's made seven AFC championships. Every year he's been a starter. Yeah. He's made an AFC championship.
It's like no one else is doing that. Nah. So as bad as of a performance he had yesterday, I think we can all agree. Patrick Mahomes is number one.
Oh, without a doubt. It's pretty hard to pass up on that. Who missed out?
I've got some honourable mentions here.
Yeah.
One that's really stiff, but I don't know. I think there's a lot more on his potential than what he's actually putting out there right now. Honourable mentions, Jordan Love from Green Bay. I think he's a gun, absolute stud, but I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback yet. Sam Darnold, it's tough because we don't even know if he's going to be a starter next year. Yep. Bo Nix had a great year, but I just wouldn't have him over these guys. But great rookie year. He's going to be really good. CJ Stroud, bit of a sophomore slump, but I thought he played well in the playoffs, and hopefully he can kind of get back to his rookie year next season.
CJ Stroud beat Herbert in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know.
I'll throw it out there.
I know, buddy. All right. I know.
All right.
Kyler Murray, I think he's dropped off. He's so hot and cold, but Kyler Murray, he's still probably one of the best talents in the league, but it's more about his dedication and if he actually loves the sport. But he's a superstar. And then Brock Purdy as well. Brock Purdy had a down year. Everyone kind of hates on him because it's like, oh, look what he does without his weapons. But look what everyone does without their weapons.
Yeah.
They've got weapons there for a reason. We're saying Justin Herbert's had a bad playoffs and stuff because he doesn't have enough weapons. Yeah. But then when Purdy's playing without his weapons, it's like, see, he can't do anything without his weapons.
Imagine Jalen Hurts didn't have A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley, and Devontae Smith. At one point, there was no Deebo, Ayuk, and CMC.
You take one weapon away, it's like, okay, that's fair. But he was playing with barely any offense this year, as well as people expect that San Fran have this elite offensive line. Yeah, outside of Trent Williams, it is terrible. Yeah. It is terrible.
And he was injured. Trent Williams was injured.
So people expect that he's working with the Avengers. He's actually not working with as much as we assume. And Deebo had a real average year. Ayuk got injured. Kittle's starting to drop off here and there. And Christian McCaffrey was injured all year. So, he didn't have a whole lot to work with this year.
I think there's a little snub in that honourable mentions.
Oh, who was that?
My man, Dak. Where was Dak? Who? Dak Prescott. He came second in the MVP 2 seasons ago.
2 seasons ago. Is that heading into next season?
Bloody hell. You don't think he's going to be a top 15 quarterback next season?
Bro. Is he going to play?
He'll play. He just hurt his hammy a little bit.
He doesn't have a hamstring.
Bro, he's going to be back.
I love Dak, but I don't know. That offense looks depleted right now. We saw the first half of the games this season. He was average at best.
Right, okay.
He was rough, okay? He was rough.
Nah, it's fair. It's pretty hard to put him in a list where we haven't even seen him play for all year. But
and you're talking about he's got Brian Schottenheimer as his coach.
I'm stoked. I'm keen.
Keen? Who's your running back? Zeke?
Anyway, let's move on. Should we just do a little quick award recap? Who won the awards? Allen won the MVP.
Yep. Saquon with Opoy, obviously. Massive Pat Surtain with Deepoy. That was huge. Really happy with that. Yeah, that was a massive win. Surprising Kevin O'Connell, Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
That was my pick, but I was kind of thinking I still thought Dan Campbell had that in the bag.
Sure Campbell was going to get it.
That was massive. Hats off to him. Huge congratulations.
Joe Burrow obviously come back, as we said.
Yep.
Second time he's won it. Pretty stiff for DeMar Hamlin.
Very stiff. He did come back from
life.
Yeah.
He came back from death.
Yeah. So there's not much of a bigger comeback than that.
And he's got done twice.
Yeah, it's a stiff.
Joe Flacco beat him from coming off the couch, and Burrow beat him from injury. But
year three, we'll back him in. Then Jaden Daniels for Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Jared Verse for Defensive Rookie of the Year. So,
pretty hard. You already said Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Pretty hard to argue.
So I think a lot of those were pretty stock standard. I think the only ones that were a bit questionable in terms of could have gone either way was Coach of the Year and MVP, really. Even Comeback Player of the Year, I think everyone expected Joe Burrow. My pick was J.K. Dobbins just because what he's had to deal with. But super happy with Joe Burrow. That's massive. So yeah.
That was the awards.
That was the awards. Yeah, a little recap there. We love that.
Cool. So last but not least,
We'll just finish off. There's a few destination spots on hand. A few big names out in the water right now.
yeah.
Obviously, the big one, Myles Garrett, just requested a trade from Cleveland.
Yep.
So
We're going to essentially, just pick. Look, there's a few players who are on the trade block who could be traded. We're going to pick the destinations where we think they should land or where they could land.
Yep.
Myles Garrett to start with.
Yeah.
Where do you think?
I think a big one is a team we've mentioned a bit, and that's the Commanders.
Yeah.
They're coming. They're coming. And we saw halfway through the season, people want to play for him. Lattimore wanted to go there. They got him. People want to play for a young quarterback that's got a bright future ahead of him. And this Commanders team looks like it's got a bright future ahead of him, especially in the NFC as well, where it's so open. Like every team is getting a new one. So I'm like, every team's up there each year. Like San Fran was the top dog last year. Now it was like Detroit, and then Philly overtook them halfway through the year.
Yeah.
I think people want to play for the Commanders, and I think, they're just going to go up. Completely new ownership, new coaching gig. People want to go there and
improve that defense.
Try and set this culture with them. So I think he's a huge part, improve that defense because it's depleted. We saw that against the Eagles. So I think Myles Garrett would be a huge addition for the old Commanders.
Oh, he'd also be a huge addition for the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh my.
Big addition. Big. Imagine having Micah Parsons on one side, Myles Garrett on the other. That's insane.
You may not even have Micah Parsons.
No, we're going to keep him. Jerry knows what he's doing.
Jerry has no idea what he's doing.
Myles Garrett on the Cowboys would transform us. We'd probably win the NFC East with Myles Garrett on the D line. I'd say there'd be a good chance. So, thoughts?
I'm just going to let you sit with that, okay? How are you going to pay him?
We have money. We just don't want to pay anyone.
Where?
Bro, how do we not have money? Who are we paying?
I don't know, but apparently you can't pay Micah.
Bro, we don't even have a running back, so I don't know how we don't have money, but...
Yeah, so
anyway.
if our next guy you say is going to the Cowboys, I'm going to walk out of this studio. All right? Okay?
Yeah.
Deebo Samuel. Obviously, just requested a trade from San Fran. So he's on the block. There's a lot of teams out there that need a receiver. I know the Cowboys need a receiver, Ben, but I don't think you can pay Deebo Samuel.
He'd look good on who are the Dallas Cowboys. So we actually do need another receiver. We actually do. We've got CeeDee Lamb. He's the only option. So Deebo Samuel would be a nice, even as a running back threat. He uses his legs. He uses his.
He doesn't want to be a running back though.
No, but we need someone to help run the ball like we do. So we haven't got like literally any other options for Dak to throw.
So
CD's it.
So you're going to pay Myles Garrett and Deebo Samuel?
Oh, potentially. Jerry's got the money.
Jerry's got the money. That's criminal.
I'm saying.
That's criminal. Well, I think.
Wait, out. What other option do we have? Brendan Cooks, Jalen Talbot?
Yeah, obviously you need to make a move, but he could be an option. What about, I'd prefer you guys get like T. Higgins, even though he'd probably cost more, but
yeah, true.
T. Higgins could be a big one, but we don't know if he's actually leaving or not yet. I think, though, a big one to help out a young up-and-coming quarterback would be the New England Patriots.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I think he'd be huge for him. Can kind of play a bit everywhere.
Drake May needs a
receiver. Like he's got literally no one. It's rough. He's not working with anything. No running backs, no receivers right now. I think he'd be great for him. Like I think their number one option should be T. Higgins. If he's on the board, that's where you'd want to spend your money. Get someone like him, and then fix up the O-line. But Deebo would be great. A veteran receiver could help out a really young guy who's got a lot of talent, but still a lot to improve on. I think he'd be great for him, and then he kind of helps with that after catch, like yards after catch area as well. So it doesn't mean Drake May needs to make plays every time. He can get the ball in his playmakers' hands, and they can go do things. So I think Deebo's a great pick for the old New England Patriots with Mike Vrabel.
I like that. Okay, third,
Cowboys.
Cooper Kupp, man. So obviously Rams are going to trade him. Where to? They could go. No, I reckon the Raiders are a good chance.
No way. Oh, okay.
I reckon the Raiders. They definitely need a receiver. It would look good in the Cowboys jersey. Would look good with a star on his helmet. But no, I think maybe like a team like the Raiders.
Yeah,
they definitely need some offensive weapons.
On the exact same page there. I love that. Obviously, they need to get a quarterback and stuff first, but it'd be great for him. Another receiver that helps out a young team that needs a bit of an identity.
Yep.
You kind of want those veteran receivers that can come in. They know how to win. They know what winning takes. And yeah, I think Brady would love to get a guy like him in the building.
Or potentially Jim Harbaugh. gets his
Don't mind that.
wide receiver 1 or 2 in Cooper Kupp on the Chargers, that could be an option. Justin Herbert needs someone, not Quinn and Johnston, to throw the ball to. He's got
Quinn's a stud.
He's got Lad McConkey. Interesting to see what he does with the run game. Like if J.K. Dobbins will be there again, but strengthening that offensive, just those offensive threats on the outside. Cooper Kupp could be an option.
I like that. That's a great pick. All right, we'll finish up. With our last one. The big man, the enigma, got told the Jets no longer want him. Aaron Rodgers. Where is this guy going?
Where is he going, man?
I don't know. Where he's going. To retirement. Okay. No. Why would a team touch him? I'm sorry. Like, what does a team get out of going after Aaron Rodgers?
He's good for the locker room. Playing best career football. Not a headache whatsoever. That's 3 good reasons.
That's 3 good reasons. And he just ticks all those boxes.
Oh, he does.
He's a real
true leader. He doesn't blame his weapons.
No.
Like he doesn't. You don't see him after the game being like, "Bro, you're supposed to run the red line. Be on the red line." Like he doesn't blame his receivers for not running the right routes.
If he has a bad ball,
he takes accountability.
He definitely takes accountability.
So
Brady will love him. So he can go.
Yeah, go to the Raiders. Brady and Rodgers. Right, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, no, I as any franchise in the league, I wouldn't touch him right now.
Look,
nothing against him. He's had an insane career. He's one of the best quarterbacks we'll see, but just not there anymore.
If he doesn't retire, I reckon there's 3 potential, like it could happen. Luka was just traded. Anything can happen in sports.
Yeah, very true.
I reckon the Raiders team up with an experienced coach like Pete Carroll. Tom Brady's the GM. Tom Brady's basically the GM at this point. The Steelers, apparently him and Mike Tomlin have somewhat of a relationship.
He could contain him.
So Steelers, no one knows what they're doing with the QB. Russ Wilson, is he going to be back? Justin Fields, we have no idea. So maybe, or the Rams, right? So Stafford and the Rams are apparently, they're struggling to negotiate a deal, which happened last season. So if there is a world where Stafford doesn't re-sign with the Rams, does Rodgers fill a gap for a season with Sean McVay? Hey, crazy things have happened, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. But it's a big question mark. There's a part of me that wants to see Aaron Rodgers keep playing, and then there's a part of me that's like doesn't want him on my TV anymore. So I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see.
You guys let us know where you think these guys will land.
Yeah.
Should Rodgers keep playing?
Yeah, 100%.
Should Myles Garrett play for America's team? I think a lot of people think that. A lot of people think it's gonna happen. But we'll see.
I don't think anyone thinks that.
Oh, bloody hell. Anyway, well, that's the Super Bowl ep done.
That's NFL.
NFL season's done.
I still can't process that.
I can't
Especially the way it ended.
Right. It's like, I feel like I need something to happen just for closure.
Yeah,
like we
need a big story like, at least the Titans have the number 1 pick. So I'm keen to see what we do.
Yeah,
I'm excited. At least we got
there'll be plenty more happening in the offseason. The drafts, there'll be plenty of moves. The offseason is always so entertaining. So the news and the stories won't stop. It's just the football does, which is unfortunate. But
it is.
Anyway, that's a wrap for episode 6 of Talkin Dribble. Thanks so much for tuning in, whether you're a long-time listener for a month or just joining us. We appreciate the support.
Yeah. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so you never miss an episode, and hit that subscription button on YouTube to catch the full podcast with all the visuals.
Be sure to check us out on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for the latest updates, extra clips, and some behind-the-scenes fun.
Next week, we'll be diving into more off-season talk, breaking down the latest trade rumors, and looking ahead to what's next for the league.
Thanks again for listening. Until next time, stay safe, enjoy the games, and as always, keep talking dribble.
We out.